Every evening, people they stand for road. They try find way to reach house. They know they see. Sometimes they go wait from morning till night. They no go see motor. Sometimes if they can't even see motor, if they enter the motor, you go yes in one chance. One chance na read something. Oh, we want to talk about safety. We want make people they feel reach out. Make people know they die throw away. Join the DS25 breakfast show. Make we talk about mobility wey dey inclusive.
We had a very interesting session last year at the Gender and Education Summit. And one of the things that we came up was this issue of transportation in our urban areas.
When it comes to transport in particular, Ogwu is 55 kilometers from here. 55 kilometers. And there is barely a single public bus that you can get. The master plan had a pretty good public transport plan. It's not being delivered. There's no Danfos in like imagine Lagos without Danfos. Like you can't. But that is Abuja is Lagos without Danfos. It's very, very hard to get around. And this has particular impact on women. There is security crisis associated with taxis. Everyone is afraid of one-chance robberies.
Yes, we have a great master plan, but we don't have access. All over the world, people don't live in the center of business districts. The challenge for us is that we need mass transit system.
And society is extremely productive if people cannot move from one spot to another. And society is productive if I cannot move my goods from one spot to another. So, thinking through this and knowing that it's impossible to have a truly inclusive society without solving for mobility. That's why we felt that coming from the 2024 Gender and Inclusion Summit, it was important to spotlight this.
It made me to support, actually open my stand. I did. So I was sitting and I'm feeling so they pushed me out. It's just like saying,
So once you are not vigilant, you don't know the trend of all that is happening. You can watch, you can be a from people.
Say that when you give them this is part, the women
imagine you could see. I can see. So imagine me in the scenario of a one chance.
We have traffic congestion. We have bad roads, yes.
Something that you've got going on.
We cannot afford to let people operate public transport in this manner without them being registered with platform. They must have an identity. If they do not have an identity, they can always hide under that blue of lack of identity to perpetrate any form of evil.
There should be a workshop where we educate drivers on how to handle passengers and especially persons with disability.
In my way, hands in my face. If I lose my way, don't be far away.
Thank you very much. Let's put our hands together. I mean, great work curating all of that. Please let's put our hands together and appreciate the work that went into that. Every item on the agenda today has been specially curated for the Gender and Inclusion Summit to add to the voices, ensure that everybody is heard. We're going to start the plenary for this main hall on mobility for all, innovating for safer and more inclusive transportation. And I'll just quickly welcome the panelists on the first part of this plenary. So as I invite them, I'd like you to please make them welcome with a warm round of applause. The first on this plenary is a businesswoman from Orange Market. We call them market women, but she's actually a businesswoman. Let's put our hands together for Mary Ogwu as she comes up. We also have Mrs. Glory Ejeje, who is the Managing Director of SREE Services and Logistics. Let's put our hands together for her as well. And we have a representative from JONAP, that's the Association of People with Disability. Let's put our hands together for Kenneth, Echiche. And of course, we have a secretary in charge, FCT NURTW, Alhaji Bashir G. Bello. I understand he's been represented here, so please let's put our hands together for his representative as he comes up as well. So the first part of this plenary will see us speak with everyday users of the road and the transport system. And the point is to basically give floor to those whose daily lives revolve around our transport system. And we have, yes, a market woman, a businesswoman on this panel. We have a Bolt driver on this panel as well. We have a person with disability. And we have a NURTW, that's the National Union of Road Transport Workers, that's the drivers' union. So this part of this plenary is to give us a real-life account of road users, everyday Nigerians like you and I, speaking to their experience. And I'll begin with a road user. By the way, I want you to please introduce yourself, sir, so we know who you are. We know you're representing the FCT and the RTW, but please introduce yourself so we'll meet you.
Good evening, everybody.
Yeah.
I want to stand on the existing protocol. My name is Daniel Clemens Moses. I am standing in for the FCT Secretary of the NURTW FCT Council.
Thank you very much. So I want us to do a quick one, because this part is going to last for about 15 plus minutes. So as much as possible, I want us to capture a lot. And I'll begin with you, Madam Mary Ogwu. What is your daily experience like using public transport? What works and what needs improvement for you?
First of all, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, the organizers of the program, for giving me this opportunity to speak our experience as a women out there in the market, especially the road users. It's not easy, but we bless God, we keep on moving. Sometimes, when it comes to the transportation, where I paid 400 naira before to go to the market, is paid 1.5 now. Though, causes sometimes because of the road, based on this rainy season and bad road. And again, as a market woman, it's not really easy to access the road. Sometimes because of the transportation high rates now, you bought a goose, you find yourself trekking 2 poles with your load to get more cheaper rates of transport. Because if you stay there to enter the vehicle, it's more cost. At the end of the day, you have no gain for what you bought. You might calculate your gain as in, I'm getting 10,000 naira. But at the end of the day, after transport, you find nothing. Day before yesterday at Orange Market, a woman bought something up to a bag of rice and some things. But she couldn't enter vehicle there. She has to carry it on her head with her hand. She slumped. But glory be to God, this morning I visited her. She's alive. That's what we face as a challenge. The transportation is too high. The rate is high. And when you go to the market, things are costly. What you buy today at rates of 200 naira, by the time you go back, you saw it increased by 600, double fold of what you bought. We begin to ask questions. Though some of us believe in God, having faith to struggle it till death calls us, also having a faith that we are going to make it. In this kind of society, we want our voice to be heard as a market women. We need the roads, transportation, the fuel. We need all this to come so that we can be helped. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. And I know this is the experience of a lot of us. This is real life right here. And just before I come to you, Mrs. Ejeje, I want to go over to the NURTW representative here because she said something that touches on your services, right? So give us your own side of the story. Because for them, the cost of transportation is almost prohibitive. It's too expensive for them. So why is it expensive? Why are your charges high?
Thank you, everybody. You know, transportation is a serious business, and every successful economy runs, that's the engine on which every successful economy runs. And, you know, recently, government has been doing a lot to ensure that the transportation system is reformed. And on our part, as a transport union, we have carried out several reforms recently, targeting security and the cost of transportation. On our part, we have partnered with the security agencies to ensure that there is safety.
Right.
By ensuring that our marshals are trained. We have seasonal trainings for our marshals. Those are the people you meet at the bus stops and various motor parks. Those people you engage with. We partner with the road safety, the Hospital Emergency Foundation, the NEMA, to ensure that our people understand how to treat the commuters so that they can have safety while they are commuting across the FCT.
All right, just a moment. I see you're speaking to safety. We'll get there, but I wanted you to just quickly respond to the points you made. But let me come to Mrs. Ejeje. We'll come back to you. I think you'll have a lot of responses for us today within the time that we have. And I want to ask you, Mrs. Ejeje, what challenges and opportunities do you encounter as a ride-hailing service provider? Because you operate in another segment of the market that equally serves members of our public.
First, I must establish that transportation is the bedrock in our society and in our economy, right? And this is one of the most imbalanced gender sector. The sector is imbalanced. Women are not included. And even when women are included, in the few ones that are included in the sector are abused, right? They're maltreated, they're disrespected. Even from our fellow women, right? You get this disrespect and abuse that comes with it. And so, gender inclusion is a major thing that we have to do in this sector. First, there must be an advocacy out there that this is a source of income and a source of living for people. I've been in this business for 3 years, running a company at the international airport. So most times, the insecurity that comes with it in the system, we don't really encounter it because you tend to deal with premium clients from the airport down into the city center. Yeah. But for the few ones, the organizations that we have, the few drivers we have, by the time you get information, we try to get data from them. The roads are unsafe, drivers are disrespected, they're abused. And even in the airport, where you feel it's a premium and most civilized environment, women are not welcome, literally, from the men.
Well, we clearly need to do better. And I'm looking at data here. It says over 80% of women report experiencing harassment on public transport. Women spend up to 29% of their income on public transport, and women's trips are 10 to 30% shorter than men's, and immobility rates range from 19% for women versus 11% for men. Looks like the odds are really stacked against women, and that's why we're having this conversation. But there's another data that I must speak to here, and that takes me to Mr. Echiche. It says that people with disabilities make up 10 to 20% of Africa's population. That's give or take about 80 million people. And 42% of disabilities are mobility related, yet public transport remains largely inaccessible. There are no ramps, no accommodations, etc. So Mr. Echiche, I want to ask you to share some of the unique barriers that you face when commuting in our Nigerian context, and what will make that system more inclusive for you.
All right, thank you very much. I want to thank the opportunity given to us from the Joint National Association of Persons with Disability to voice. I'm happy with the theme of these great events that talks about new voices and new approaches, and meaning that we are going to be telling you different things that we need, emerging trends and approaches that we can use to solve the problems of persons with disability, especially as it relates to mobility. The question is, persons with disability, do they need to move from one place to another? Of course, yes. It is in the human nature that you move from one place to another. And now, because of that, we have peculiar issues. When you say women are more subtle to transport-related hazards, I say persons with disability suffer times 20 of that. Thank you for the figure you rolled out. Talking about almost 50% of Nigerian population is made up of persons with disability, and this 50%, calculatively, you are talking about 35 million. 35 million persons with disability left unattended to, especially when it comes to public transportation. What are the issues here? There are attitudinal issues, we have policy issues, there are no proper arrangements for persons with disability. Look at the roads. There are no pathways for persons who cannot see. I cannot see as a person sitting down here, but does that mean I should sit down in my house because I cannot see? With all the great potentials, my contribution to the society should be left at my roof because of disability. And I dare to say, the disability you are seeing, it is because of the barriers that are making disability what it is. Therefore, I give you a new definition of disability. It's impairment versus barrier equals to disability. When you remove the barriers from our way, the disability is no longer there. Meaning that if proper policies and documentations are made, the roads are made accessible, there are ramps and all these things are put in place, there will be no disability. And therefore, it calls that every one of us should come together. All hands must be on deck. Another problem we have is this. Most of the policies are made without us. You can't make a policy that concerns persons with disability. Look at the master plan of Abuja. Please, can you go and check where persons with disability was included in the master plan? It is not there. And then if you continuously, now look at the CNG buses that are being rolled out. There are no provision for persons with disability. In the CNG buses, we don't have ramps. Imagine how indignifying it might look when a person on wheelchair wants to climb a bus, and then you need to lift him up into the bus. Sometimes even the drivers, I'm happy the NURTW, they are here. We have a peculiar challenge with them. Sometimes when they see person with disability on the road, they don't zoom off because they don't have the time to be able to help that person to guide him, put his wheelchair together for him to be able to access public transport. And an inclusive society is a society where everyone is carried along. If we are not carried along in the public transportation, I don't think there is inclusiveness. And this is what I want to see, that until the society looks at us beyond what they see, that is the disability, that is when it is inclusive. And I conclude by saying, by the time I am seen, not by the size of the wheelchair that my colleagues sit on, or not by the length of the white cane I carry, not by the dramatic display of the sign language a hearing impaired person uses, but I'm seen by the contents of my heart and my brain. That is when the society is surely inclusive. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Echiche. That was indeed powerful. We're constrained and even restrained by time today, but I'd like to say that this has been very productive, and I want to thank everyone on this panel for your patience and for sharing these very important insights. And naturally, these will form policies that will be developed for the transport sector. I'd like to thank Mary Ogwu, Businesswoman, Orange Market. I'd also like to thank the Managing Director of SREE Services and Logistics, Mrs. Glory Ejeje. Of course, the representative of the Joint National Association of Persons with Disabilities, Mr. Kenneth Echiche, and the representative of the Secretary in Charge, FCT NURTW, Mr. Daniel Clement. We'd like to thank you so much for your time. Because of the constraints we have, we're not able to take more questions, but we have to switch gears to the part 2 of this plenary. But please, thank you very much for your time. Let's put our hands together for them as they take their seats. I look like a very wicked person right now, but it's not me, I promise. It is a time. But we can take quick photographs before you take your seats, please.